On Two Wheels this week, Wayne has the ultimate waterproof test, Robert continues his marathon bike ride, Jeff checks out some Battisini Specials, and a ride on Yamaha's Royal Star.
Well, welcome to Wayne's Warehouse again. Well, actually, we're not in the warehouse today, we're outside. This is sort of outside broadcasting, because we're doing a piece on what wet weather gear. Now then, it's sunny. Now, Paul said he had this all sussed and arranged, and I assumed he meant he was organising the weather, because he does say he is God. But he hasn't organised the weather. In fact, what has he got organised? Oh my goodness, what on earth has he got here? I don't believe it. That's better, nice and dry, you know, not a problem. The waterproof suit that we have just been testing, the several suits we've just been testing, the idea behind that is to give you an idea of what is available to you to keep you dry on a horrible wet winter's day. Now you get your usual line suits, we spoke about these before with armouring and so on and so forth, but these things are just simply oversuits in the form of one piece or two piece. My preference is two piece because you can simply stick it over a whistle and flute if you go to the office with your shirt and tie on, or you can stick it over your leather two-piece suit or one-piece suit. They're an awful lot quicker to get in and out of. Now some of the guys who make the one-piece suits have addressed this problem of getting in and out of them by making the zips longer and so on and so forth, making the suits easier to get in and out of. But I don't think they've covered it properly. I don't think they've actually made it that much easier. It's just to help sell the product. Two pieces, in my mind, without a shadow of a doubt, dead easy to get in and out of. If you get caught in the rain, you've got to be quick, haven't you? Right. What do you get? Well, on occasions, you get thick quilting. But all these that we've tested today are simpler, lightweight ones. And in the case of this particular Fjordigan suit, which will cost you around 75 quid, it's actually got a lightweight inner liner on the inside. It comes with the trousers, and hidden here, in this large pocket, is a bum bag, all fastened in. So you stuff it all in there, stick it around your waist. When the rain starts, stop under a bridge and throw the suit on. And then just stuff that back inside the pocket. Now that idea comes with a lot of the one-piece suits. In the case of this Technics jacket, and you only buy the jacket by the way, it's a separate item at 35 quid. An extra £15 buys you the trousers. This doesn't pack away at all. You just got to stuff that inside your seat ump or whatever you carry on the back of the bike to carry your bits and pieces with. Now this doesn't actually have an inner liner, and I believe it's a better proposition to have an inner liner inside, and the reason for that is the taped bits that cover all the seams have a tendency to wear from the inside. Strange as it might seem, it happens. You've got your leather jacket with buckles and zips, you might have your one-piece racing suit with lots of flashes all over it. These things actually wear that liner and get down to the taped bit on the inside. So if you're going to choose a suit and you want longevity of life, you want the thing to last you a number of years, consider getting one with a little bit of a liner which then protects those taped seams. Talking about the tape seams, here we are. This suit over here, this Belstaff, shows you the tape seams. They've all got Velcro to cover the zip up to stop the rain getting in, and this is your tape seamed area here. Now, the plan is, and the manufacturers suggest, that with this fancy nylon material they use, and the tape seams, and the fancy cuffs, and all sorts of bits that seal up round your neck, you're going to stay waterproof. Well, are you? Now, that might be how they design it, and that's their full intentions, but you're the tester. And we get loads of people come in the shop and they say, hey Upcock, the suit's leaked. What can you do about it? Well, it's easy enough, just give them another suit and send it back to the supplier. But people seem to get very upset by this, as though they've been ill done by. Well, they haven't, because, let's be fair, the products are all mass produced at a price. I mean, you can buy a one-piece suit now for, believe it or not, just over 30 quid. Well, they can't really produce these things on a mass market or 100% guaranteed waterproof, every single item they build. So there's always a chance that the one that you happen to buy, you're the poor devil who gets the leakages, usually round the buster gonads, and it does come as a shock to the system, I must admit, when the water comes in, brings a tear to your eye. But it's not a problem, is it? Because I mean, it only takes you 5 minutes, take it back to the shop, explain the fact that it's leaked, throw it at them, they'll give you another one and off you go. And there gives you your warranty. That's what warranty and guarantees are all about. Just a few little pointers about the various different suits. This dry biker from Belstaff, it's a good price, it's £45. It comes with the bum bag fitted inside, just like the two-piece Furigan one we spoke of. There it is. Elasticated bands, goes round your waist, alright, convenient. Sometimes I believe it's worth spending a little more, because some of the better suits have some better ideas. For example, elasticated cuffs are good, but that means if they're very, very tight like that, you've got to put your glove over the top. Put your glove over the top, the rain comes down inside the glove. Not such a smart idea, really. So if you can try and consider a suit maybe that has a big wide cuff, put the glove on the inside, tighten the cuff up and put that on the outside, and the water rains down over the top of your glove and disappears. Then some of them have stirrups on the bottom. Strange, you might think. Well, if you're on a superbike and you've got a one-piece leather suit on and a pair of tall boots, you haven't got a problem. You don't mind if the suit rides up your leg a little bit. And if you're a bit of a shorty like me, the suits never get ride up your leg because they're always too long anyway. But if you're on, say, a scooter and you then want to wear your regular suit, maybe going to work, or you're a lady and you want to wear something casual and you don't want all your biker gear on, you've only got a regular pair of shoes, you get an exposed bit between where the suit rides up at your ankle, wet socks. The stirrup idea keeps it pulled down, so when you put your foot down, stabilise the bike when you've stopped. Then when you put your foot back, at least it doesn't ride up and you get a wet ankle. Simple as that. So look out for these little bits and pieces, and you get that on, say, this particular suit, which is 65 quid's worth. That's it. I mean, that's the idea today. The idea is to show you a few of these different little ideas. Look out for these little pointers when you're buying a suit. But I've actually got a little bit of unfinished business to do, because you would have noticed earlier on that Paul was the man behind the hose. So revenge is sweet. So excuse me just a second. I've got a little job on here. Paul?
Hello.
Just sorry to interrupt you, like you. Fireman Sam. About, you know, a little bit of water, I'll just sort of spray a little bit of water on you.
Yeah.
You were just taking the mickey, weren't you? Really?
Yeah.
You enjoyed that, didn't you?
It's good, very funny.
Got a mate of mine here, wants to meet you.
Have you? Right.
Here you go.
After 2 long days driving through the Baluchistan desert, we arrived in the Islamic Republic of Iran. With its open roads and searing heat, we came across some real jewels of the desert, like this abandoned castle near the town of Ban. Nuria had some things to say from the female perspective.
Well, if you can notice, I am in Iran now, so I can show anything of my body. I'm looking to leave Iran just for do that. Woo!
Iran was the most friendly country we had been to. Strangers on the street insisted that we stay in their homes for free. While the general population were hospitable, the religious police were very suspicious. The eyes of Ayatollah Khomeini were everywhere. If we were caught filming, we would have been arrested. We headed for Esfahan, the ancient capital of Abbas I. We did get a chance to see the famous Shah's Mosque, with its towering minarets and dome, and Persian murals with their semi-precious stones. As an internationally isolated country, we know little of the customs, culture and artwork of this proud nation. The man here is skillfully engraving the Quran onto these silver plates. Running low on money, we were grateful of the free caviar dinners that we received from Mully, a friendly Iranian man. However, time was against us, so we reluctantly left for Turkey, only a day's drive from Tehran. We were greeted by Mount Ararat, the point where Noah first spotted land after the Great Flood. It wasn't to be a good omen for us.
Yesterday we arrived in Turkey. I think my last comment was we might get 10 kilometres or we might get 10,000 kilometres. I was almost right. We got 12 kilometres.
The bike had failed us again, so we were forced to take the train all the way to Istanbul, a journey of over 2,000 miles.
After 7 months of travelling, we're really finished. We could go to the most beautiful mosque in the world, or the most beautiful church, or to see the most beautiful people, or anything. Well, it just won't be interesting. You go, oh, yeah, very beautiful. You know, we're just tired now. The motorbike, we've both got stomach problems again. We're running out of money, we're a bit unsure about how much money we've got to get back to Spain. Just finished.
Unfortunately, the motorbike fell over in the train and I couldn't start it, so we were forced to sleep the night on the pavement. The only thing that made Nuria happy was that we had eventually arrived in Europe.
As promised this week, the winners of our NEC ticket competition. We asked who came second in this year's World Superbike Series. It was, of course, Aaron Slight. Congratulations to our 5 winners. And coming up after the break, Jeff rides a Battisini Special, good advice from Brendan Riley, and a look at Yamaha's Royal Star.
Welcome to Daytona Beach. Well, not quite, it hasn't got a pier for one thing, but you might have guessed this is Bournemouth. This is the home of this beast, a lowrider by Battistini. It says on the tank, paint it black. That was by the Rolling Stones, if you remember, but it should have been by the Art of Noise, because see these stubby little things they're called silencers? More like amplifiers. But enough of that, it's an absolutely brilliant bike, brings a smile to your face, and I mean, just look at this engine. Looks as though it's been hacked out of the solid, but hacked is the wrong word, carved. It's got billet barrels and cylinder heads, 1450cc, 5-speed close ratio gearbox. It's a soft tail rear end here, and it's an absolutely brilliant piece of kit. Not a sports bike, and in fact it's incredibly low. And I've actually dug it into the ground a couple of times, but having said that, it's very, very nice. Very, very tasty, but more suited to the seaside. But enough of that, there's more of these where this came from, so we will go and visit the headquarters of Battistini. Well, this is is it. This is Battistini's. This is the headquarters. It's where it all happens. It looks like a custom show, but it's not. It's normally like this. Absolutely fabulous bikes around, including this exhibit here, which is Ricki. Shouldn't call you an exhibit, should I? But Ricki is the main man. He's behind Battistini. So how does it all work?
The majority of customers, I would say, come in probably unaware of what they're going to see, and they might have seen one or two bikes in a magazine. A lot of the guys come in and the first thing they want is the biggest motor they can possibly have. Well, from experience, it's not always the best way of going. You lose a lot of reliability, and when you're on a custom bike, you've lost a lot of the reliability to start. Don't forget, it's a custom bike built from scratch. You're very lucky to go on a few 100-mile journey and not have a minor problem, although, you know, I'd like to say that we try and eradicate those problems, but a custom bike is purely that, is custom built, and you would expect a higher level of maintenance than you would have with a standard bike.
I think I better let you carry on and produce some more of these wondrous machines, so thanks very much, Ricki.
Thank you.
This week on Bren's Bits, I'm going to talk to you about locks and chains. Don't worry, I'm not being kinky or anything, though I did do a bit of that when I went to Amsterdam with the lads. Still got the burr marks on my wrist from the handcuffs, and it took me 2.5 days to get the chocolate out of my chest there. And I'm telling you what, that's one video you won't be seeing on Men and Motors. No, I want to talk to you about security chains. And in front of me here, there's a wide selection. Now, the best advice I can give you is, the more money you spend, the better. There's some here for a tenner, and there's one even there for 130 quid. 130 quid for a chain. The thief wouldn't know whether to nick the chain or the bike, especially if it was a 250 Super Dream. So, from 130 quid down to a tenner, and I'm going to show you what a tenner buys you. Basically, I picked this up from a car boot sale, and I'm telling you what, a scally would bite through this in 2 seconds. It is crap, and it tastes crap. Look at these disc locks, quality, and look at this, another £10 special from a car boot sale. It's made out of toffee. Out of all the locks we've looked at, this one is probably the most effective. What you do is basically, you attach one end to your headstock, and the other end to one of these. Nice doggy, nice doggy.
Many people will ask me, what's the best bike to buy? And of course there are as many different answers to that as there are bikes on the road. And these days, with so many different classes of bike available, you really need to be clear on what you want your bike to do. For example, you wouldn't buy a touring machine like this if you wanted to go and do track days. And you wouldn't buy a race replica, something like an R1, if all you ever did was went to the office and back 5 days a week. But some people want to buy a bike just to impress their neighbours and perhaps their non-biking mates. And if that's the case, it needs to be physically massive. And of course, it definitely needs lots of nice shiny bits. So here we are, a Yamaha XVZ Royal Star. Yamaha released the Royal Star into an already quite crowded world of custom cruisers back in 1996. At 1300cc, the liquid-cooled V4 engine is bigger than some family cars, and it takes up nearly as much room on the road. It's not just big, it's also very, very heavy. It weighs in at 305 kilograms, which is heavier than Kawasaki's biggest cruiser, their VN 1500, and it's about the same as Honda's monster, the F6C Valkyrie. But it rides and it handles surprisingly well for such a big lump. It's not fast, but that's not the issue with a cruiser. There's no point tearing along in a blur of chrome and polished metal. You want people to be able to see it clearly. That's the whole point of having one. They're fantastic for posing. It's certainly a bike that lends itself to aftermarket bits and pieces, and there's plenty of scope for adding your own personal touch, should you feel the need to stand out from the crowd even more. You'll never be first to arrive at the local bike gathering on a Royal Star, but you will arrive in supreme comfort. High bars and forward-mounted floorboards encourage you to almost slouch into the luxurious padded seat. Power delivery through the shaft drive is smooth, with surprisingly little vibration from the big V4. In fact, you'll sometimes leave it in too high a gear on purpose, just to enjoy the bucket loads of torque as you accelerate out of a bend. It might not have that famous American name sitting on the petrol tank, but doesn't it look just as good? Well, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, you make your own mind up. But you can't talk about custom cruisers without comparing them to what is, after all, the original Harley Davidson. So here we go. The most powerful Harley Davidson will pump out around 69 brake horsepower. This thing will deliver a very smooth 74 brake horsepower. The fastest you can go on any stock Harley, providing you can hang on, is about 110 miles an hour. This thing is capable of close on 120 miles an hour. But surely the most important thing, without doubt, is the price. And yes, Japanese cruisers are cheaper. Kawasaki's big one, the VN 1500, will set you back around about £10,000. For a fully kitted out, matching saddlebags, chrome and all the business Harley Davidson, you're likely to be paying £14,000 or even £15,000. This Royal Star is about £11,000. And if you want to add a little bit more, the touring kit that this one has, that's the screen, nice leather saddlebags, backrest, and a few other fancy bits and pieces just for show, that's about another £1,000. So, as it stands like this, 12,000 quid. Not bad. Not only will you need a rather large wallet to ride a fully kitted out custom cruiser, you will also need a very large garage to keep it in. On Two Wheels next week, top stunt rider Dave Coates explains exactly how to do all those impressive tricks, and the penultimate leg of Madras to Manchester.